Alright then, connecting to server, hopefully. Yep, there we go. Nice. Alright then, spiffy. Well. Yes indeed, poor Keiko. I mean, she knew what she was marrying into, you got to admit.
Yeah.
You don't marry into the Navy and not acknowledge that you're going to be travelling.
Although I imagine at one point there was a conversation where from behind closed doors someone suddenly heard Keiko yell, "You became a main character? Do you know the hell that they go through? I married a side character. I thought we'd get away with having a happy life."
Let's not forget her husband's best friend.
Why they moved to DS9 is her idea. Keep him under a very short leash. She can always find him. He's not going to be gallivanting around in some starship.
Yeah. So I get the feeling about a third of the population on Deep Space Nine one day were thinking, good, we're hiding out in this place far away from any civilization. The perfect thing to do. And then suddenly the news comes around and goes, massive, the first stable wormhole in galaxy found. Attention, flocks to Deep Space Nine. A third of the population go, damn it! I wonder why that yelling of and scream of frustration and horror is coming from the doctor's ward. Probably nothing. What could he possibly have?
Well. Okie dokie do. Right, so everyone is locked in and joined on Foundry Forge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And those who want to hear Sirenscape can hear it and it's playing fine?
Mm-hmm.
Spiffy. In which case, let me turn off the ship rumble, quickly turn off the Sirenscape Muzak, and we will be right back after this intro video. Excuse us.
After these.
And warp speed now.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, folks, to the continuing adventures of the USS Navis. I'm MJ, the GM, and I will be your games master for the next 3 hours or so, and with me are most, but not all, of the Navis crew. So, let us get things into the moving. Let's just put some sounds on, and we're good. Righty-ho. So, the first thing we usually do when we start these up is ask folks if they want to spend any of their acclaim. Oh, and to remind folks that in your character notes, you've got your list of minor, medium, and large milestones. They will remain. The ones you haven't spent will still remain there, but they are under different names now because the minor ones have been changed to adjustments, the medium ones have been changed to milestones, and the large ones have been changed to character arc. So, just so you know. So as a result, the minors, the mediums, and the larges that you have not spent are still there. They are just operating under different names, and there's also some differences. Not many, but some differences. So, there we goes.
Goodness, I got 3 large that I've yet to use. I really need to actually keep up with my character thing.
And yes, let us have a moment to recognise that we are down our helmsman. The character we will see off in appropriate fashion. I'm not killing him off. Let me quickly state that.
Yeah.
We never know if Jan might come back. His circumstances may change, and hopefully we will see him again. As a result, I think this episode is going to be Kaval Thazanan's retirement, as it were. But as a supporting character, we will be treating him today. Nevertheless, the first thing we tend to get on with, as well as milestones, is claim. Well, then you might have to create a new supporting character, then, might you?
Well, I know exactly who's getting up here. Mr. Minoko to the con.
Well, he's a bartender who's seen many things, so...
I fanboyed on Claude. Fangirled. I fangirled on Claude. I fangirled on Kev. It's now time to bring Minoko to the front.
Oh dear God. Okay.
Just for a reminder, can you remind me of the name of the head of security for Narendra Station, please?
Ooh, yes. There's two of them. There's the Klingon one and the Starfleet one. So if I find the Starfleet one first, that would be Lieutenant Commander Sar Dorvelli.
Lieutenant Commander...
I will
Sarvelli, did you say?
Spell her name for you now. Hold on, let me post this in the Forge chat. And if you're interested, the second, her in charge of security is Lieutenant Carbell of the Klingon contingent.
It's as I need it for my antipathy.
Antipathy. Right. Of course. You're
adding it to the notes, and for some reason I can't make bold the subject title for reprimand. No. Oh, there it is. Nope,
never mind.
That's not what I want. I'm just trying to get it bold. No, there's no bold buttons. I'm just like, why?
Control B will do.
Is this Control B? Thank you.
Yeah, just shortcut it. It's the same thing.
I thought as I've got the first one, I might as well. Oh, that's gone white all of a sudden. Why are you doing this?
You're having a fun time with the text editor, I see. Yes, your first reprimand. How does it feel to be a rebel? Rebel.
Hey, I did it for a cause.
You did.
But
this is a good example of personal relationships, and of course values can also cause you some trouble, which is what we want. Bit of drama. Nova, of course, this is old hat for Nova. It's like, one reprimand, you're so cute.
It's the first actual one on record, though.
That is.
That's been quiet.
You had the one that was falling out with Andrews.
Those other ones as well. I've had force code training and all sorts of them.
Yes, you have. It's all fun, at least for me. Right then. So, yeah, anybody else want to do anything with their acclaim or their reprimands?
I cannot sit on my keyboard.
You can always, of course, order your cat politely not to sit on your keyboard. This is why I have I actually have a kind of a see-through glass monitor stand over my keyboard, so my cat can't sit on mine. So there you go.
Yeah.
Trick of the trade.
It's going to be slightly different for me. I've given Tracy my desk, so the cat has actually no way of getting onto my table the normal way. So I'm going to be expecting her from now this point onwards to go, I still want to sit on your mouse mat, therefore I'm going to jump in your face.
Yep. And then it is you who will be on camera with the cat swatting your face, not me.
I mean, I have to turn the camera on first.
Well, yeah, we may get views that way, so by all means.
I'm good, thanks.
No problem. Okay. So...
I mean, if we'd utilised Yan while he was here, then we definitely would have got some.
Dang it. Never mind. We wish him luck with whatever it is he's doing now. But don't forget, awards can be found under 2nd edition on items if you want to have a look at those. And of course, you can also use your acclaim to purchase favour with other NPCs, or even put yourself forward for a promotion if your reputation is high enough. Or indeed, you know, maximum, which the majority of you are. Not all, but the majority. Actually, it's about 50-50 now I look at it.
I try not to look at get my hopes up for any kind of promotion. I already know that a certain someone's going to be keeping me down.
Got to keep them humans down. Rise up for the changelings.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Stuff you can do with acclaim is usually to do with your career, whereas the adjustments, milestones, and character arcs are there for your character stats to be either shuffled around or added to, including the ship and supporting characters too. So, all available. So, I'm presuming with the way folks' cursors are moving around that you're still having a look.
None of them kind of jump out anymore now.
Well, you guys have got so many medals by this point.
Yeah.
Fair old collection.
Just saving up to the point where you can just beat... Or is it Blackthorn? Just with them all
Blackford.
shoved into... Blackford, sorry. You just shove them all into a sock and start swinging them out.
I'm sorry, how many Starfield Medals of Honor do you have? Oh, is that all? Do you have any commendations for bravery? Oh, wait, I do.
Is it Nova's thing that if you don't have enough medals to make some sort of like flak armor, you're not doing it right?
Just got to collect enough to challenge the Elite Four, that's all that is.
I ought to give you one armor point of resistance just because of the sheer amount of awards that Nova has. But then,
yeah, but they should only be worn on her dress uniform, so it's only in sort of like specific situations.
But she doesn't wear dress.
I was about to comment actually. So.
That's more like a roll of like what they like roll of quarters kind of thing in America. Just like she just flicks a thumb and one pops up.
Flicks it in the GM's eye. Bing! Okay, so I take it nothing stands out, nothing springs to mind. I will take the silence as a no, not really, Matt.
Nope, nothing for Scott. For Sophia.
Okie dokes, okie dokes. I will note, at least for Mike's benefit, that Orei has 4 acclaim and your reputation is 3, so if you wanted to, you could spend all 4 acclaim to up your reputation to 4.
But then I have to act better, don't I?
Nope.
Well, okay, if you want to go that way with it, then I suppose, yes.
You have to be an example. No more random hot tub parties. You have to send out fancy invitations first.
You'll
have it
let's
printed
try it. Let's
printed
see how
on
you go.
embossed card. Hear thee, you have been invited to thine yonder hot tub.
Okay, we'll try an Orei upgrade.
So there we go, all you got to do is reduce your acclaim down to 0 on your character sheet, and then just pop your reputation track up to 4.
Okay. Alright.
It's nice that for 2nd edition they did add the acclaim reprimand inputs. I like that they did that. Very handy. In any case, if nothing else, then I suppose we move on to the science projects. Because that's where we were, in between episodes. So, the first one, as per usual, is going to be the He Who Came First. So before we do that... That sounds dirty. We'll move to the bridge.
Only because you made it dirty.
Only because yeah. Filthy. Anyway, stop it, Matt. Stop it. Do excuse me. I'm having one of those nights. I'm off my meds. Anyway, so Dr. Bertram's Picard is judging me. Thank you. The biological EV suit.
Yep.
We were on genetics. We'd only just started genetics.
Yep. Only just.
So, due to the whole doobry with second edition being that every assistant after the first requires a momentum to be spent, does kind of limit who you can bring on, but I'm willing to forego that for the inter-episode stuff. It doesn't make much sense to deny you help on your projects. So as a result, you can still, as long as the dice total is on or under 5, we're all good.
4. Yep.
Any thoughts on who we want to assist? Obviously, anyone with the genetics focus is going to be handy.
Does anyone other than me have the genetics focus?
I'm not sure they do. Let's check.
I used to.
You used to, but you gave it up for Lent.
You gave up genetics for Lent. That's an interesting one.
He gave up caring about his
No,
own.
you've still got genetics.
I've got genetics.
You've still got genetics. What are you talking about?
Would you like to help?
Absolutely.
Science!
There's science to be done.
This was a triumph.
I'm not the only one that thought that.
Yeah, for the people who are still alive.
Okay, so this is going to be reason and medicine.
Okay.
But whoever wants to take this on?
I assume I'll take lead.
Presuming so. And Orei's like, helping!
Oh. Ooh.
So,
Never mind.
because this gene goes this gene goes this, everything's looking fine. Liku, don't plug this project into your hot tub.
I always go wrong with the hot tub.
Contaminants, man. Contaminants. They spoil the testing.
I mean, just because you use it as your own personal petri dish doesn't mean the doctor wants to.
Yes. Your own
Fascinating.
personal feature. I like that.
And
That
this
should be a
is
song.
why we are not allowed nice things. And Matt is currently stuck at 38 subscribers because Alex just goes off on sort of like very dark locations.
To be fair to Alex, not just him.
No, totally Alex.
That's not dark.
Okay, so that's...
You know who would say that? A non-changeling.
Alright, so some successes there, a good amount of successes, but so far this is still the testing and planning phase, getting some interesting feedback from it. Of course, genetics, meaning that you're trying to find ways of genetically altering these plants so that they can do what they need to do in a vacuum or in hostile environments. So every little bit helps towards the end goal, but that's all we can do for that project for now. So we're going to be moving on to Orei's project, which is unfortunate because Orei was just helping, except he didn't really help, did he? He just popped his head into the lab and go, "You good, Doc?"
You got this. I believe in you.
Just popped it, goes, just want to tell you, Doc, good luck, we're all catching up.
I was thinking of that.
So as a result, we just go straight to Orei's 3D hologram interface project then. The last avenue of investigation you were taking us down was quantum physics.
Yes.
So, yeah, any guys with quantum physics? I mean, at least some of the science lot should have quantum-related.
Or quantum mechanics would work too.
Quantum mechanics, yeah, I've got Alex Monod with quantum mechanics. Kirst is more electrical and computer systems, isn't she? Yes. Anyone else on science with quantum related?
Just getting all the nerds together in a room. Nerd out.
Turin has got astrophysics. And he's sent. Oh, quantum computing. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's bring the alien artificial intelligence in.
Yay.
Okay, so Mike, you've got 2 potential helpers there. So, Webby, do you fancy being mono?
Yeah, can be.
Cool. So this is going to be reason and science, I would have thought.
Okay.
Obviously 2 from Orei, 1 from everybody else. Orei. Okay, 1 success. One success. Better than
they're
that.
not like
Nothing for hello, but 1 for mono. Okay, 2 overall. So some progress. Coming across a couple of mathematical problems that need to be solved first. Some of the equations don't quite line up like they should. So, need a bit of extra work there.
Please tell me he's got an anomaly. Anomaly.
Anomaly.
I had to do it. Come on, I got OCD. It has to be done. It's a law. Okay, right, cool. So 2 projects ongoing. Anybody else want to start a new project? I mean, what's left to do? We've given Unit Hello a phaser. We've given the ship experimental phasers and an easy access shield system. Oh, Andrews is extra failsafe for raising the shields. Thazanan's going away, so she can only do it all by herself.
Oh,
the power!
No.
The power! The undiluted power! Shields go up, shields go down. Shields go up, shields go down.
And just to really wind everyone else up is that the Roigabiv system goes do, and it just keeps flashing. Like, goes round in a nice colour of circles every day.
I'm
surprised.
We could make Unit Hello the equivalent of tactical dreadnought armor, but for Star Trek. Just tell if we could deploy him for battle.
Orbit dropping in.
Say.
Well, nobody said no so far, so you never know. Haha, see what I did there.
I was going to say, we you mentioned one of the projects we given is Hello a phaser. How about Hello firing microscopic-sized quantum torpedoes? I think that would work very well.
Micro quantum torpedoes.
Yep.
I mean, part of me is doing on a realistic front. If we want to add something to him, I'm actually thinking something along the lines of some sort of taser, or just some sort of non-lethal, just zap for close quarters.
How about a new Chantal, Tom? That was working very well.
Yeah.
A non-lethal that was working quite
Yeah,
well.
the non-lethal Ushantor. Should carry it on in fact Jan's memory. That we will finish it for him.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
It's an option. If somebody wants to engage in the non-lethal Ushantor experiment, then they are free to do so if they want to.
It's just a bat.
It's not a bat. The Ushantor is a handheld ice-picking tool.
Yes, I'm saying like a non-lethal would just be a blunt version. So
Well, okay, yeah, good point. Just get a bat and smack a bitch with. Yeah.
Pretty much.
There's plenty of those around engineering. So.
Just like grab a wrench. Just...
Yeah, exactly. Something
I heard
blunt.
wench then, and my brain was sat for ages going, that's
Grab
really
a wench.
odd. Yeah, grab a wench. I'm like, look, there's plenty of them round engineering. Like, whoa! And then my brain finally caught up. It's like, no, Matt did not say wench.
Either that, or
wrench.
we've actually caught on to Orai's harem. There are wenches in engineering.
Is this the new... No, I almost started saying something. No.
Any hoops. Okay, then. In all seriousness, does anybody actually want to take on the stun Ushantor, or are we just going to leave it in case Yan comes back?
I think leave it in case he comes back.
Gotcha. All right then. So, science projects then, I take it, done. Acclaim and character advancement has been considered, not really taken. So, we will go with starting this episode then. And so, I am going to, for the purposes of your personal logs, give you that this should be episode 46, the title of which is Unintended Consequences. And I know he hates me doing this because he was elected to lead, not to read.
I want the stardate number first.
Well, there it is.
No.
Ah,
Give it the stardate number.
I can't do two things at once. What was the episode called? Again?
Unintended Consequences, episode 46.
Can't. Right. Okay, cool. Captain's log, stardate 50893.5. The order that all of us have been dreading came in 1 hour ago. I only hope we're not too late.
Okay, so we cut to the bridge of the Navis with everybody looking extremely focused, extremely serious, but those with empathic senses definitely detect the air, the heavy air of worry. The ship has been travelling at maximum warp for a good 2 hours, 43 minutes, racing as fast as it can, especially because you were ordered not to use the Bifrost drive under any circumstances. And so the Navis's engines have been put to full straining use, and as such the Navis's structure is now vibrating ever so slightly with the effort of keeping this high velocity going. Looking down to helm control, Captain Andrews requests once again expected time of arrival, at which point Caval, still the chief helmsman at the moment, looks down at his helm controls and sees the counter 5 minutes and counting. And so the captain once again checks that all stations are ready at red alert battle stations, and request time of arrival to try and see if he can hold off exiting warp for as long as possible, just so that the ship can zip to where it needs to be as close as it can. And so we come destination. As you are told, as you their seats, the countdown comes from 20, and everyone feels their stomachs drop slightly, but keeping themselves composed. The countdown of 8, 7, 6, 5. People grip the seats if they've got them. 2, 1. The engines cut out, and the first thing that folks notice, of course, is that beautiful big blue Earth, and you are viewing it from behind a Borg cube.
Oh, what?
Oh, I know what this is.
And so, the moment the Navis pulls out of warp, you take in the scene before you. Your sensor operator is the captain, which is in likelihood this is Orei, notifies the captain that there's evidence of damaged or destroyed Starfleet vessels going all the way to the Typhon sector, so there's certainly still ships here in Sector 001 that are showing signs of catastrophic damage, but nonetheless you've appeared here where the fight is still going on. Last you were told there were 51 ships posted to take on this single Borg cube. Now, there's a hell of a lot less. Nevertheless, the moment the Navis appears and you have time to take in this grim scene before you, you get a notification. At that point, Gareth says, "Be right back." You get a notification from your communications officer, whom I shall not bother using the voice modulator for. Captain, incoming communication from Admiral Hayes.
On screen.
So, quickly we switch to Admiral Hayes, and just as the view screen shows the Admiral's face, the view screen kind of crackles a little bit as obviously his vessel has just taken a hit. I can just confirm that it is Admiral Hayes, and I haven't just made that up. Yes, indeed. So, Admiral Hayes' face appears on the view screen and he goes, "Captain, please make sure that switches to Secure Starfleet Channel 101. At which point...
I just nodded to, Tufty.
Okie dokie. At which point, yes, your communications officer switches channels and gives the captain the nod. So done. And the view screen momentarily flickers a little bit as you switch to a different communication method. Pardon me. All right then, Navis, thank you for joining the fight as soon as you could. Can I get you to confirm that you did not at any point use your Bifrost drive?
Confirmed, Admiral.
Excellent. We can't risk the Borg getting any wind of that secondary propulsion system that you have. Therefore, you need to keep it offline no matter what. We are sending you attack vectors. We are utilizing a tiered swarm system to try and overwhelm the Borg's defenses and cause as much damage as we can. The Navis, being the ship that she is, will be in the outer heavy cruiser layer. Each ship in its layer is assigned an attack vector. You are to keep pounding away at that attack vector while the other ships keep on their own to make sure that there's no accidental crossfire, nobody getting in each other's way. The key here is swarm. You move, you shoot, you hit, you move again. Do not remain stationary. Keep on the move if you can. Understood?
Understood, Admiral.
Good luck to us all. Hayes out. Okay. We are now in the situation we are in. So, these guys over yonder are kind of the mid-tier, even though they're not exactly on the mid-tier. So these guys over here are the closest tier. They're the smaller ships. So you've got the Appalachia, the Defiant, and the Jaeger, the smaller, faster, more maneuverable ships swarming about the Borg cube. Slightly out from them are the slightly bigger ships, including the Thunderchild and the Bozeman. And further out again, you recognize Admiral Hayes' ship, the Madison, and the two other remaining, what are they? Nebula-class ships, making up essentially the heavy cruiser division of your forces. So, the areas here are all marked off, representing the various zones. Launch Moss torpedoes? Well, see, I go and ask if anybody else has got any ideas for a science project to begin, and
well,
now you come up with
ability of my character, isn't it?
You say that, but how much of the stuff does the Doctor have? Because could we literally just fling it in, stuff it into a torpedo and actually?
I don't have enough Bertram Moss to be able to load torpedoes. That hasn't really been my priority. But strangely enough, You'd be amazed how rarely it is that medical doctors in Starfleet engage in side things to develop biological weapons. It's surprisingly rare.
I don't know.
It would also make the start of the film Star Trek Nemesis very boring when the Enterprise turn up and the Borg cube's just out of power because of some moss.
Yeah.
Well, this is it.
Yeah. First contact ends. Because what happened? I gunned up their works with some Bertram mods. They ran out of power.
So,
if you're able to penetrate the actual hull, then yeah, actually, that could definitely have an impact on them.
well, you know, the way I look at this is that essentially, just like the Sunday Star Trek game with the combs, these can represent alternative histories. So bringing you guys in now at this, for the Battle of Sector 001,
yep.
Let's see if anything different happens. Now, I want to bring your attention very quickly over to this little section over here that I've made for you guys. I've essentially listed the different stations that you have available. For a roundup of what kind of things each station, each role is able to do, I will refer you, if you need to, for the reference document that I posted the link to in Discord earlier. So you've got command, you've got communications, you've got helm, you've got operations, you've got sensors, you've got tactical. But because the Navis has got an engineering department rating of 4, you actually have 2 ops stations, which is very handy because then one ops station can do the regaining of reserve power, the other one can do the regaining of shields, or can go off and conduct repairs. So with 2 of you around, that opens up a lot. Now, if Davis was here, I was going to throw Vibers on the comms area so that he could at least be present to start doing things like coordinating repair teams or creating advantages, or traits I should say now for 2nd edition, that could either assist. He can still technically do that, but it's encouraged in 2nd edition rules for characters that aren't being actively controlled by players to be treated as essentially supporting characters who only assist on rolls. So they've done away in 2nd edition with the sickbay actions in combat, which kind of makes a certain amount of sense. Does leave the chief medical officer without something to do, but at the same time, one imagines that if and when a ship takes damage, he and his staff are going to be busy anyway. So Gareth, as per usual, has the option of either taking a supporting character role and or the role of the ship, or we could do the usual thing we do is, you know, you could allocate yourself as one of the supporting characters, and we'll just cycle through who gets to roll for the ship.
Yeah, bravo.
Well, there is a Bravo, Chief Engineer Bravo, right there on Op Station 2. So I don't know if this configuration is what you guys want, or if you want to mix and match. I mean, for now, definitely makes sense for Thazanan to be at helm. Obviously makes sense for Andrews to be at command. Orei to be at sensors, potentially, unless you want to bring in somebody who's actually got sensors as a focus.
I need to get it as a focus.
Well, let's have a look. Your character notes state...
Yeah, doesn't Edwards have it?
I was going to say... Comms?
Now, I will say, comms doesn't have a heck of a lot that it can do. It has some, certainly. So anyone who'd be on comms would be probably setting up traits, either to help you guys out or to try and hinder the enemy. So, in whatever imaginative way you can think of going about it. I mean, just because I put Edwards to one side over here doesn't mean he has to take a side seat. It's up to you how you want to arrange your crew.
Can we use comms to contact the Borg cube and then give them the message, "We are the humans, resistance is futile, you will be obliterated"?
We are the Navis.
Well, that does bring up a That's something that Starfleet are doing to the Borg, because the Oberth class ships are actually being used as a own signals. So the Oberth actually have a use.
No, they don't.
Well, they've been given one in this regard, any hoops. So, likewise, folks can create traits to help or hinder. Help yourselves.
Someone at Modiphius is just like, I really feel sorry for the Oberth, so I'll give them something to go out on. You're like, nah.
No, actually, I'll get to the finer points of that some other time. So, once again, actually, let me take paused off, otherwise you won't be able to move folks around. Once again, is this configuration of folks on stations all right for folks, or do other folks fancy moving people around?
Well, we don't want Orei on command.
Bet you that's the point. Kev! Kev, get on command.
Oh, grabbing speed. We want to go. Bring me closer. I want to hit them with my batleth.
Well, this is exactly what Worf did later on in the fight. Today is a good day to die.
Yes. Turns out there's good reason for that, but we'll hopefully get to that.
I think an Idrisel class will also do a lot more damage than the Defiant if it did hit.
For a moment I thought you said, "Commander Keth, the Borg are attacking. This will be the fight of our lives. I want you on comms."
Deliver a motivational speech to the crew.
Yeah, and do it without the phrase, "Today is a good day to die."
You want him as
right, hamstring me before I've even started.
No. You want him farther than that away from it, just for irony's sake. You want to put him in as a report to sickbay. You're going to be a nurse.
He's allowed to say today is a good day to fly. You know, it's like close enough.
Oh, okay. This may be a bit out there, but hear me out. Can we manipulate the comms jammer to send a signal to the Borg, and then I can start distracting them with the incredibly interesting
loading message.
All right. Last time, everybody good with that order? Let me quickly point out, however, that it is a minor action to switch positions on the ship, so you don't have to feel beholden to stay at those stations during the course of, but I just thought I would give you the option of where folks would like to at least start. So, shake it so, thank you. Cheers, Shaun. Right. Okay. If everyone's good, then let's do this thing. So, rather than convolute things, I am not going to put in an initiative, and the other ships will be acting as the story dictates. So, you've basically been given your attack vector. It's time to actually do it. So, as was the case in first edition, it's usually recommended that command officers can do things like create traits that are either causing problems for the enemy or making things easy for yourselves. Command characters are also very good for generation of group momentum, so that others can buy off of that. Helm, of course, useful for setting up either evasive maneuvers to make you harder to hit, or attack runs so that it'll make it easier for you to attack the enemy, but also make it easier for them to hit you. Operations will more than likely be called upon after the enemy have damaged the ship in some way, either by trying to regenerate shields, or in the event of a big hit or some other eventuality, if your reserve power gets knocked out. Certain actions, like bringing shields back online, require reserve power to be active. I do believe, because you have secondary reactors, you can do that almost immediately with momentum. But it costs 2 momentum, so you need momentum for that, obviously. Sensors, the sensor station can do things like try and scan the enemy for any advantage that you want to try and take care of. Otherwise, usually sensor station is used for trying to detect a weakness in the enemy so that you can give your ship's weapons the piercing quality, which means that they ignore armor resistance. And of course, tactical for the shoot bang fire. Like I noted before, you should have the links to the reference card PDF. So the ship actions will be from page 5 onwards, I think. Yes, page 5 onwards are mostly all the various general ship actions, and the further you go on, it'll give you the role specific actions that you can take. Nova's already on board the Borg ship. Okie dokie. So, it comes down to... What do you want to do first? One of you goes first.
I suppose try and build some momentum for other people might be the best. Or try and get a positive trait. What are people feeling?
Well, you're on 0 momentum to start with, so...
As such as it is like an attack.
What?
It's probably
I was going to say, why is Nova in the Borg cube?
vacation.
You know, with a hollow capture camera. So, keep going, sorry, Shaun.
Maybe a Cavell special where he does his attack and defense vector.
Now, I will say, when he does that, it's usually when there's momentum to spend, because what Jan used to do, quite rightly pointed out, was he would do one maneuver, but then he would have to spend... what was it? In order to do another major action, it was 2 momentum. So that kind of thing is entirely possible, yes. Do an evasive action and do an attack action.
Gain it himself if he's successful.
So if he's successful, yeah, so yeah, that was right. He used to do that. Well remembered, Shaun, thank you. So he would do 1, use Legion of Honor to gain 2 bonus momentum, which he could then use to buy doing a second major action to do the other. So, by all means, we can start off with that. So, basically, Alex and Gareth, if Edwards and Bertram aren't actively involved, then which characters would you like to be?
I could always be Claude.
You could always be tactical if you wanted to be Claude, absolutely.
Take Vipers.
You want to be Vipers? Okay. That does mean that Fazanan and Chief of Engineer Bravo will be treated as supporting characters and therefore can only assist.
I'd potentially take Cavall.
Yeah, I would say maybe Cavall over Vipers because you've got more you can do. More that's central. No problem, sir. No problem.
He's got a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Ian did a very good job with Fazanan.
Well, his goes already sort of done, or do you have to roll for his usual?
It depends what you want to do. If you want to do, I mean, he has got the talent Precise Evasion.
So we're going to do the attack and defense vector.
Yeah. So if he does, what I'm getting at is if he does evasion first. He can use Precise Evasion, the talent, so that the evasive action he does doesn't cause it to be harder for Claude to hit the enemy ship with. And then he can try the attack by spending the momentum he gains from a successful, hopefully, evasive maneuver action using his Legion of Honor. Unless, of course, you want the captain to try and give some momentum to the pool first.
I mean, if I'm not going to use Edward, then I could potentially use... Is it Spirit Discovery? Yeah, Spirit Discovery to use my 1 determination to add 3 points of momentum to the pool.
But you are being Fazanan, not Edwards in this. So,
yeah.
For ease of whatever, we'll be sticking with whoever you are taking the helm of. See what I did there? So. Alright then, so last blast is Andrew's going first to create some extra momentum for the pool, or are we doing the Fazanan special first?
I think that's an unspecial because we might need the captains next.
Okay, so let me just get a text box ready. So, an action of that regard, well, if we go to use the... So, command... Now, Helm Navigator. So, if you want to create an evasive action, we are going to need Daring and Con from Fazanan, assisted by the ship's structure and Con. Let's have...
Your Helm operations will be focus.
Shaun, can you be the ship, please?
Structure and con, did you say?
I believe so. Let me just check that one more time to make sure I got that right. Structure and con, yes please. Look at that. This is difficulty... Ooh. Oh no, wait. This is working differently now. Ah, okay, no, carry on. Right. Okay, so it turns out this is different than what was in first edition. Rather than rolling to see if you get the evasive action off and making it harder by raising the difficulty for the enemy to hit the ship, it's now making it an opposed action. So the Borg have to try and attack, and your Helm Officer and the ship set up the difficulty when they attack. So in this case, you've already done it, so let's count that. Evasive of 4. So the Borg are going to have to get 4 or more successes in order to hit the Navis. Okay, cool. So, but he's using Legion of Honor, one of his 3, to gain 2 momentum, which you can use to buy an extra major action, which you can now use to make the attack action, which involves... Hold on, let me check. If you take this action, each time your ship makes an attack before the next turn, you may assist on that attack using Control and Con. So, rather than it making it easier for you to attack by the tactical officer to attack by 1 step, you are aiding your tactical officer. So, we'll just note that you have set up an attack pattern, and you will get to roll your assistance when it's time for the tactical officer to attack. Oh, yes, exactly what I was talking about. So, with that in mind, Fazanan has gone. It's the Borg's turn. So. What was I going to read off? Alright then.
Any typical Starfleet power signature detected. Analyze, adapt, assimilate.
They are using sensors.
They're talking about you, Captain.
Therefore, I gain 1 of those, and they gain that. Alright, they have gone. Now one of you has gone. No, gets to go.
Shall we try and build that momentum now then?
Do everything to negate the Pearson.
which would be traits then.
Creating a trait.
Mm-hmm.
So, usually when
insight or reason commands to perform the task, using the battle plan strategies or similar.
Yep.
Let's look at rotating shield frequencies then to do that. That's the ship. That's not Andrews.
Yes, the ship can't do this itself yet.
Control command.
Just need to plug unit hello into it. Give it a bit of a boost.
You're assuming unit hello isn't already plugged in. Oof. Okay, so good news, Legion of Honor was spent to negate that complication. Bad news is I don't think you accrued enough. Command, in addition to create a trait action described on 289. Well, not unique to command, usually to create battle plan strategies and similar. So usually, creating a trait is difficulty 2. And then so unfortunately you only got 1, which means you were unable to create or order a modulation that could negate the piercing. So the sensor station gets wind that the Borg are scanning your ship.
We'll make sure the Bifrost is fully offline. Although we are going to be leeching dark matter.
Now, that's all Andrews can do for now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the Borg go next. And the Borg ship starts to tailor itself and angle its own attack vector as a result. Right, one of you can go.
Do we want to try and scan for weakness and then fire?
I'm hearing... Oh, sorry, Shaun, what was that?
Seems reasonable.
Okay, so Orei is at Sensor's position and therefore will take the scan for weakness. Let's find Sensors. So scan for weakness is going to be a control and science with difficulty 2, assisted by the ship's sensors and security. So last time Shaun was ship, so let's have Alex as ship, please.
Can you use computers as a focus?
This is sensors, I am afraid, so not really.
Sensors and what, sorry?
Sensors and security from the ship, control and science from Orei. Unless, of course, Orei wants to use one of his adjustments or milestones to switch out one of his foci for a sensor's focus.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
Let's find out which one we do. I get a feeling it's the medium, the milestone itself, but I am gonna make dang sure of that. No, it's actually an adjustment. So one of your what used to be minors, of which you have still 8 remaining. So you can switch out one of your focuses for sensors.
Okay. Yep, I'll get rid of xenoanthropology.
Okay. So edit xenoanthropology, switch it out for sensors. That now means that you can make a control and science with a focus now.
Hey, that should have happened a long time ago.
Well, it's become more pertinent, shall we say, to this specific situation. So it just represents Orei, after having heard the orders, putting a lot more focus into getting better. Whoa, and boy, does he! That's cool. So you needed 2, you got 4, which means you put 2 to the momentum pool, and you add piercing to your attack. So let's just make sure. So if this succeeds, the next attack made against that ship increases its damage by 2 or gains the piercing quality. Which would you rather? Do you want to increase the damage output by a further 2 of your weapons, or do you want to give it the armor piercing quality?
Well, what does the crew think?
Indeed.
Probably piercing.
Okay.
Because
What does
we
piercing
know how
actually
hard
do?
it is to punch through a Borg cube.
Indeedly do. So if we look at Starship weapon qualities, piercing gives us, when this weapon makes an attack, any resistance the target has is ignored.
Yeah,
So,
that sounds
yes,
good.
Yeah,
probably a
that's
good idea. And because Orei has gone, let's go with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What am I gonna do? Initiating advanced targeting heuristics. Analyze, anticipate, assimilate. Or creating an advantage. One of you can go next.
Shooty.
Yep. Hit them before they hit us.
Shooty, shooty. Alright then, which means we go to our tactical officer, and as you might expect, now this is because they are not using evasive, this is not a contested action, therefore you are going to be using, now you are 2 zones away from them, so everything here is pretty much, I forget what the very, very close one is, near, close, yeah, point blank, thank you. Close is going to be adjacent, so you're looking at medium distance. Any of your medium and higher ranged weapons will do. I do believe your phaser arrays are medium range, yes, yes, yes. So you can use phaser array or quantum torpedoes.
I believe that quantums are actually less powerful than the phaser array.
For
They've got
knocking
higher
shields
yield.
down, yes, that kind of thing, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a question. I might be remembering this wrong, so if I am, then everyone, especially Webby, as he has great tactical knowledge about everything Starfleet. Do Borgs actually have significant shields? Because what I remember in fights to them, that they tend to actually tank the first blows and then use sort of like quick regeneration and adaptation rather than conventional.
Yeah, they do have adaptive shields. They
Yeah.
do have shields, but the shields are what are generally the adaptive bit.
Right.
If you can punch through the shielding,
Yeah.
which is why on Voyager they developed the Star Trek Elite Forces, they developed the Infinity Modulator,
Yeah.
which cycles the frequency on every shot.
That's just, I've been looking at Klot's talents. He's got Shield Breaker and Maximum Yield. I'm not sure if we want to focus on the shields for the first one or go full Maximum Yield with, I think we'd get Paris in and also Devastating Attack.
I'd probably say we want to hit hard, hit fast, to see if we can buckle before they can adapt.
Okie dokie. So I go for the
That's
maximum.
just my thoughts. So everyone else, please speak.
I say, regardless of what we do, we want to have whatever frequency the. I hit torpedo or phaser first. Actually,
Phaser.
so if it's phase, yeah, then we
We'll
want
do
to
phaser.
have that start cycling through frequencies as soon as his shot goes off.
Yeah.
Well, the tactical station's minor actions are calibrate weapons, which you would do to switch frequencies. There's the prepare action, because sometimes you want to gear up for something. And there's the targeting solution, which allows you to re-roll one of the d20s that you roll.
Yeah.
Or you can choose which ship system on the enemy ship you are actively targeting. So you do have minor actions you can take as well to calibrate the action, the main action you're about to take.
Yeah.
So that list is on page 12 of the reference document.
I'm thinking, do we start this one targeting and then calibrate them afterwards? Because normally the Borg have to take at least one hit before they can adapt to that calibration of phasers.
I think it's a good idea. What about the rest of you?
Yep.
Yep.
All right then. So, what we agreed on, what we found out was that Claude rolls. What is it now? It's just basically fire. So you are using an attack which is going to be control and security, aided by the ship, which will be. Mike, do you fancy being the Navis?
Sure.
The ship.
Starship weapon systems will work as a focus.
Absolutely. The Navis will be rolling 1 dice naturally, and will be using weapons and security. And as always, we treat the ship as if she has focus on these assisting rolls. So.
Yeah, we get assistance for this.
But we also get assistance from your helmsman on this attack. Who
is
gets
he on 2 dice or just 1?
1 dice, please, from you, Mike. Whereas Helm will, on an attack pattern, you will be assisting Claude's roll with control and con with 1 dice.
Would his focus work?
Absolutely.
Wow,
Okay, and
Claude hit the wrong button.
Oh my god! What is going on?
No, wait, we've got something to ignore this.
What, both of them?
He's got a couple Medal of Honors.
Alright, so Andrews is using 1 Legion of Honor to negate one of those complications, but...
Oh, that's Medal of Honor, where's Legion of Honor?
But I hasten to note that... hang on a second. Oh, no. I'll wait till you're done.
We'll wait for you.
No, Alex, put the Legion of Honor in, because otherwise Matt's going to fire the complication.
They've got 2 left.
Actually, Thazanan has already... Yeah, as Shaun just pointed out, Thazanan's got 1 left.
1 left.
So if you need to, maybe put some... edit the talent to put some notches on it or something, some lines to indicate how many have been used. Or maybe just give yourself a little note saying 1 left, whatever you need to remind yourself that you have done it.
Where does it replenish?
What was that, sorry, Mike?
What does it replenish?
Next episode.
Yeah, next... Thank you, Shaun. Next episode, yes. Quite right.
Okay.
So, that was basically 1 success.
Yep.
Ouch.
So the shot went wide, I am afraid, and failed to actually do much of anything. Alrighty. Which means now that Tactical has taken a turn, it's time for the Borg to take a turn. Which means we don't target ourselves, much as you would probably like me to. Right, so ultimately this is going to be a contested effort, which is interesting. So just to give myself a thing, I can't do that yet because of that. That I succeeded on, and that they succeeded on with 1 extra. That one actually would have succeeded with 1 extra too. No, it wouldn't have. My pardon. Which means, well, you did it. They're going to do it too. They are going to attack, which means they need a difficulty 4 to get over the evasive action you took previously. The Borg, as a result, right, let me see, they roll... Average violence, that's 1, 2, that's 3. Ooh. So I am going to have to use threat to give them another dice, which will be the one to actually make it hit. So, as you can probably tell, I am cutting corners in order to make this faster for everybody. As a result, boom, a bolt comes firing out of the Borg ship and strikes the Navis. Now, this...
evasive 4?
Yeah, I had to spend threat to do it.
Alright.
I think your threat's not gone down.
It has. It went from 13 down to 12. Alright, so those weapon systems are not meant to do damage to the ship, it's meant to do damage to the shields and drain power. So, that's the energy cutting beam, that's not what I meant to do. My fault, my pardon. I saw energy and didn't see the other one. It's actually this guy that I was going for. So, dampening, depleting. So, dampening means that your reserve power is now gone. Goodbye, reserve power. And depleting means that the attack can be increased in devastation by a number of points, but only by expending 1 threat rather than 2 to increase the damage. I am ignoring, because of piercing, the Navis's resistance, therefore this is gonna be... Let's keep it as is for now. They're interested to see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Do a barrel roll.
So the shot zeroes in, and the shields are knocked down. So the ship doesn't even rock when it's hit, but reserve power goes out. Your shields are drained. Which means that the Borg lose the following. Actually, I just remembered something, so I'll bank that for later. And I did that and I didn't use it, so that goes away as well. Badoop, badoop, badoop. So, that's what the Borg have done. So who's left out of you guys? The only ones left are, well, no, pretty much... Nova. Nova's left. I only couldn't say... I forgot Nova because she's gone from the side navigation. So, Nova basically... Well... Because of the secondary reactors, you can spend the 2 momentum in the pool to bring reserve power immediately back online without having to do a reserve power check, which means that Nova can then dedicate her actual action to try and bring the shields back online. Unless you want to try something else. But the actions you can take are the operations engineering actions, and in the reference document they are on page 10. So I don't know what you would like to do here, Shaun, so please enlighten. Because you can't... let me just finish what I was going to say actually before.
Yeah,
you can't regenerate shields without reserve power. So
no, I think I've got to regain the reserve power before I can do a lot of what I've done. Yeah, I think we regain the reserve power with the momentum if everyone's alright with it.
okay. So spend that momentum then, please. So then it actually says who removed the momentum and who spent it. More power. Whenever you use the reroute power major action, you may spend 2 momentum to give reserve power to 2 systems rather than 1. Actually, my pardon. That makes more sense now. Okay. What I said earlier about the ship always assisting as if it had focus is not strictly true. You got to give it reserve. You got to give the department being used reserve power in order to affect the focus. Give it focus. I do believe, but let me make absolutely certain of that. But I'm not just making that stuff up. Just so that you are operating with knowledge of all the stuff that you can currently do. When you may give reserve power to 2 systems rather than 1. The chosen system gains power which will apply to the next action using that system as described on 185.
So I need to do. I can use regain power as a thing anyway. So.
Well, yeah. So for you, in order to try and regain power and regain reserve power and do the shield, you would have had to have spent 2 momentum anyway, in order to do 2 major actions. But the second major action you took would have been that much harder. So it would have made. Sorry, I talked over you there, Shaun. What was that?
Ops 2 not getting on action.
Well, I don't know.
No, he's not technically a player at the moment, but he's.
You could definitely get one of the characters to assist on whatever you do. Yeah. So you can use assistance from Chief of Engineering Bravo, absolutely.
I was thinking we could use Ops 2 to do regain power and regain shields. Without having to spend the momentum.
Without having to... Well, that's the... the way that would have to work would be that Command would have to give Bravo the direct action.
Okay.
Because he's a supporting character without a player behind him, therefore all he can do. He can only take an action if Command uses the direct order action, or he can assist on a main character's or a controlled character's action. So sadly, he can't take an action by himself. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it comes back to what you want to do. Is at least the... Go on, sorry.
I can't use the more power because I need reserve power for that, so it's going to have to just be a regain power attempt.
Righty-ho, righty-ho, righty-ho. I mean, the Navis does have the advantage of having advanced shields and therefore has a hell of a lot more shields than a ship its size usually would. So, you know, it's not a bad thing to bet on the Navis's ability to stay in a fight. So, absolutely doodly. Oh, look at that! 4 successes. Now, as a result of that, reroute power, regain power, is difficulty 1, which means you got 3 over and above what you need. So you're in the interesting position now. You can... You've got 3 that you can basically throw into the momentum pool now. To use however you want to use it. So I'm going to add those 3.
Can I use 2 of those to make a trait now?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Cycled weapon systems.
What would you like it to do? As a kind of like a rules specific thing. What effect are you going after? Whenever you use traits representing a piece of equipment or alteration made to existing, any character may re-roll a d20. Cool. So, what kind of action do you want it to assist with? Do you want it to assist with evasion? Do you want it to assist with attacking? Do you want to assist with regaining power? Or what was that? Sorry.
Attacking, I think, so it'd be more like piercing, I guess, to get through the shield.
Okay, so
to lower the effectiveness of their shielding.
okay, let me think then. So that's essentially giving. Would we rather give that weapons damage then a flat bonus, or would we like to make it so that it's easier for the guys rolling dice to generate more successes?
I think generate successes.
Okay. In that case, cool. So we'll treat that as there we are, 2 momentum gone. But as a result, you've created the trait that
And I've doubled that too as well.
Yeah. So, Grand Cut Order of Tactics. When you create a trait, you may automatically add a level of potency. So that goes up by a level of potency. Nice. Alright then. Awesome. Using your Grand Cut Order of Tactics. I like it. So that's set up ready for next time. Reserve power is back. Okay. Which means their turn is next. You've used piercing now, haven't you? So somebody can get that back later. Let me see. Borg haven't taken any damage at the moment. They are therefore going to take a second helm operation to move a bit closer. Right, that's all of you that can go. As a result, that's all of them that can go, which means that we bring this back around to the next round. So, who wants to go first out of you guys? It basically comes down to what do you want to do first? Do you want to add more to the momentum pool? Do you want to create another trait? Do you want to do evasive or attack patterns? Do you want to scan for weaknesses or set up something else with sensors? What do you want to do? Oh, actually, before I say that, I just remembered something. Things are going on. Things are going on. So, alright then, so before we get to that, as the Borg start moving in closer, you notice that they start altering their attack vectors when it comes to dealing with the other Starfleet ships. They start to concentrate less on the inner and outer layers and are now focusing their fire directly on the middle layer of ships. As a result, the Budapest takes the brunt of that onslaught and gets taken out.
Oh.
The Bozeman, however, then gets gripped by a tractor beam. So, this may or may not alter your plans for this turn somewhat. Maybe they don't, maybe you just continue doing what you did before, but yes, the middle layer has lost the boat. Sorry, what was that, Webby?
Let's not do what we did before. Let's actually hit the damn thing this time.
So, what would you like to do first? What kind of thing would you like to set up first?
You want to keep up the evasion, or did that didn't really do as much good last time?
Well, it did. It meant I had to spend threat in order to actually hit the Navis.
Our orders were to link up with that attack pack group anyway, wasn't it?
Your attack group are the heavy cruisers, which are the big ships, the command ships.
Yeah.
So you are essentially, like I noted, this is Starfleet are using a swarm attack. So everyone is moving, even in their various bubbles, shall we say, of influence. So that's not to suggest that the Navis is really far away from the Madison and the other two ships, the Endeavour and the Lexington. We're all moving around trying to stay within the same bubble, but moving around each other, staying out of each other's way, and attacking the Borg at distance. But yes, now it seems the Borg are altering their tactics and are going for the middle layer. So, again, what would you like to do?
Take out the Borg ship.
Alright, how would you like to go about doing that?
Well, I was hoping you'd have ideas.
We could do a flyby and full barrage.
Alright, what kind of thing did you have in mind?
Fire off the mid-tier.
We want to target where the tractor beam's coming from, so we can try and disrupt that so the ship can get away.
Did we actually beam Nova over?
No, we didn't beam Nova over.
No, it's me, Kath, just let him go kill crazy on there.
Kath?
Kamal's just on there with his flipping stun Ushantor. It's going.
Well, you know, stunning Borg drones as they're still in their alcoves. Yeah, absolutely. Right, so that sounds to me like you basically want to do something to draw the Borg's attention to you, which could be some kind of trait that you want to create. You know, look at me. Over here, we're a distraction.
And we want to disrupt the tractor beam.
And you want to specifically target a specific weapon system of that ship. So certain extra advantages, traits likely are going to be needed in order to make hitting a specific system that much easier. So if we're going with that, then that's the kind of things I suggest. Creating a trait to divert the Borg's attention off of the mid-tier, creating advantages for your tactical officer to be able to actually hit a smaller target rather than just generally going for a whole section of a Borg ship. So, what would you like to do first? I mean, Nova has already provided one trait by making attacks easier by a factor of 2. So any attacks now are going to be slightly easier to pull off as a result. Unfurl a flag with a big middle finger? Well, as long as somebody rolls a task and gets 2 successes on it to create a trait, then it may as well be a flag.
Up yours, Borg.
So that would suggest either the command officer creates a trait that way, or and maybe gets assistance from comms, perhaps, or
No.
Yeah, let's try and commit that. So its trait is control with command. Do we start with 1 determination or not? I can't remember.
You all start with 1 determination, yes. If you want more determinations, then you have to make sure one of your values causes trouble for you in some fashion in this scene.
Well, for the good of the Federation. Or survival at any cost. Preservation of life, you know.
I'd say preservation of life is me if we're going to try something tricky to hit the tractor beam.
Yes.
So put ourselves in harm's way.
No, for the preservation of life of the entire populace of Earth.
And how do you think that would apply to make things more difficult for you?
Because that's the entirety of the weight that lies on every single captain within this fight, is that they know if they fail, then the entirety of Earth will be assimilated.
In that case, if you want that to apply to make give yourself a second determination point, I am happy for you to do that, but this next action of yours is going to be more difficult to pull off as a result.
Well, no, I was just saying to spend determination, not to...
Oh, to spend, absolutely. You can justify it however you like. Yeah, to spend, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I do beg your pardon. I thought you were trying to generate a point. Then, yeah, absolutely. Go with what the value. And, of course, remember that you've made a note of it. Remember to make a note of it in your personal log when you next get the chance. But for now, we got a trait to create.
Create the trait. Create the trait.
So, let's see if you do it first. In whatever fashion you choose to try and create that trait, as long as you get 2 successes.
Light her up. Just doing deliberate faint fire and then firing at the main target where the tractor beam is.
That was 4 successes because you used determination. Nice, nice, nice. So we actually ignore one of those dice. We'll ignore the 15. So it's 3 successes. Because if you remember, in 2nd edition, when we do determination, it actually replaces one of your dice rather than adds one. So, but you still got 3, you needed 2, so you've actually banked 1 momentum as well as created that trait to draw their fire. Okay. In which case, I will say that as a result of this action, the Budapest is going to be severely damaged, not obliterated. So you've already changed history with that action there. Or have you? Let's see how much longer they manage. So, one of you has gone, which means now one of the Borg now have to go. Alright, in which case...
Detecting tactical changes within enemy vessel. Adapt. Analyze. Assimilate.
In which case I am going to have to generate my own trait. Which means they are creating a complication for you by spreading some sensor-baffling particles, so that I am committing this action to lowering the potency of the trait that Nova created, but I can only do it by 1. I can only decrease it further by spending threat, and I'm not going to do that now. Alright, one of you can go next. Who's it gonna be? I mean, the thing with Helm is that if you're doing evasive, you have to wait for them to attack you. If you're doing an attack pattern, then you have to wait for your tactical officer. So it's a bit of a waiting game with Helm. So in the meantime, go on, sorry?
I would say probably keep up the evasive maneuvers. Because if we're going to keep draining, then it's going to be harder for us to do things. Because we still that because shield can't take too many more knocks, can it? Like that.
That knocked about a third out of your shields, so...
Yeah, so a couple more then we're gone, so I'd say keep up the evasion.
Right, I have made note of that you're going to be doing that, just to remind us that we can do it.
Oh, no, that was a question to people.
Oh, okay. Do you want to keep up evasive? As a result of what Alex has just proposed. I am hearing no objections.
So I'd have to re-roll, just keep it.
No, don't re-roll. The way it's supposed to work is that their attack against you is now a contested action. So when they try and attack you, they have to. You have to roll then when they try and attack to see how much they need to get over. So that's cool. Because of Thazanan's precise evasion, that means that Claude doesn't suffer any penalty to an attack as a result of evasive action. Cool. Which means if Helm has gone, then one of them has to go next, so they are going to engage once again in their own attack pattern, which means that their own con gets to assist, their own con officer as such gets to assist their attack. Cool. One of you go next.
Can we scan for weakness?
Absolutely, which is a very, very good idea. If Orei would like to do that, you can do that with a focus now. And to be the Navis, let's have... let's go with... Webby? Because other folks have got roles coming up.
What would you like from me, sorry?
To be the ship giving us sensors and security, please. Assisting Orei's scanning for weakness. No successes.
I'll be right back. I got a package at the door. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Now, the question becomes, does Mike have the same thing that we do over here, which is delivery amnesia? That whole thing of, yeah, thanks, mate. Now, what the hell did I order? Which is kind of nice in a way, because then you're always surprised when you open the box. You get that lovely revelatory, aha! Well done past me.
Okay, what is Orei using?
Control and science, I do believe.
Okay.
Let me make absolutely sure. Yep, control and science.
Come on, Orei.
Come on. Oh! Well, it was a 19
Orei.
rather than a 20, and you got a 1, which was 2 successes, which means you got exactly, I think, what you need. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So you do get... piercing. Nice. So, as a result of you doing that, one of them goes next. They do the exact same thing. And as a result, I also gain a point of threat. As it's 1, 2, 3 dice. Yes. Cool. One of you goes next, so that pretty much leaves the attack.
Gains a 52 quality.
Now then, if I recall, we're trying to target a specific system here, and there was a consideration for trying to knock out a tractor beam. If I can just find it. Resistance, shields, reserve power, crew support. There were a list of actions in regard to tractor beams, if I could just localize it. Scale, talent, focuses, departments. I need to find weapon systems. Weapon systems. Starship weapon systems. Excuse me, there's lots of ships to get through. Good lord, there are lots of things to get through. Right, Starship. Weaponry. Right, so they get bonuses to that lot. They can be persistent. They have types of damage, types of torpedoes. Lots of new torpedoes. There we are. Tractor beams. You want to disable the emitter. Okay, so Clawt's best option is, of course, to use the tactical minor action of targeting solution, which means you will be targeting the emitter.
Don't we need him to recalibrate from last time?
Well, you didn't actually hit anything last time, so...
I was going to say, we completely missed, so they haven't had experience to
do it, yeah.
adapt.
So if you want to hit a specific system, you need a targeting solution, which is a minor action, be a tactical officer.
Okay, yep.
You don't need to do anything or roll anything for it. You are now choosing specifically which system to attack, rather than rolling randomly which system to attack, which means we come to the usual fire option. Your attack action is usually at a difficulty of 2 if you're using the phaser array, but it's gone down to 1 thanks to Nova's trait. So it's going to be control and security for Clawt. Can I have Shaun? Can you be the Navis, please?
No.
Giving me weapons and security.
I get all 7s, lucky number.
Nice, 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 nice.
you say that the ship always rolls with focus?
I misspoke with that. That's when you throw reserve power to it. It was almost a 20, but then it rolled onto the 8. 3 successes, nice. 2 over and above what you needed. Now, you have the option here of banking those 2 points in order to fuel, to give yourself a full momentum pool. Or, oh, actually, I should note, Phaser Array has Versatile 2, which means for successfully hitting, you gain that many points of bonus momentum which cannot be saved. The kind of thing you can do with that bonus momentum from Versatile is spend those 2 points to up the damage by 1. And the same option goes for those 2 extra that you could put in the momentum pool if you wanted to. You could spend those 2 as well for a total of 4 to up the damage by 2. So
I'm thinking, given that it's the Borg and they're going to be regenerating damage, it might be the idea to cause that extra damage to make them work a bit harder.
Alright, so throw it all into damage. I like it. So,
in theory, even for the Borg, there's got to be an upper limit of how much they can regenerate physically a turn, even between the amount of matter that they physically have and conservation of energy and stuff like that. The Borg are incredibly advanced, but they're not the Q. So yeah, in theory, if we can just pile on the damage, we might be able to cause more damage than they can regenerate in a turn.
Like your optimism.
I am Claude. Optimism bows to me and my button.
I do beg your pardon. Actually, I've just read what the spread trait on your phaser array does. Spread reduces the cost of devastating attack momentum spend to 1. Devastating attack is what you use to up the damage, so rather than it being 2 points up by spending 4, you can actually pump up the damage by 4 points by spending 4. I think.
So was
oh, no. There's conflicting information going on here. Okay, I need to find clarification. I do beg your pardon, folks. I need to... Right, so spread. Attacks of this weapon reduce the cost of the devastating attack momentum spend. Devastating attack momentum spend. Where is it? I need to find that. Devastating attack. Right. Roll an additional system. It suffers a hit dealing... Okay, so devastating attack allows you to hit an additional ship system when you are trying to find out what system you caused a breach on. So they've changed that. But adding damage is still 1 point for every 2. In order to lower the momentum cost of upping the damage, you need a weapon with the intense quality, which this weapon system does not have. However, when you do get through these shields, you'll be able to hit more than one ship system. But nevertheless, the Navis has got phaser array. At 9, you've upped it to 11. You have got piercing, so you are ignoring the resistance they have. So that means they lose 11 on their shields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. That is a whole heck of a chunk. Now then. Have shields gone down to... No, okay. Alright, so with that rather excessively powerful attack, you do land a very telling shot on the Borg's shields there and knock them down by, well, almost the equivalent of what they knocked yours down by. So, very, very good. As a result of over here, you're going to be taking the brunt of damage off of the mid-tier. We've done that and we've used that. Okay, cool. Now it's their turn. You have got only... How many of your guys have you got left? You've only got operations left to go after this, don't you? So... Don't really want you to raise those shields just yet, so I suppose the Borg had better attack now. In which case, they roll 2 dice for attacking, and they get 1 assistance from the ship. They also get assistance from their helm for a total of 4 successes. You've got evasion, so this is down to your helm officer, who needs to roll... right, so this is an opposed task. Alex needs to roll daring and con, but this is assisted by the ship, so...
Wouldn't you need to roll first, because you might miss?
I've generated 4 successes. I'm not bothering to roll for the Borg, I'm going with the average roll of a dice, just to try and speed things up. I'm assuming a roll of 11. Therefore, I'm not getting extra successes, but what I am getting is guaranteed successes. So that is 2. You are aided by the ship. We will have... Gareth, could you be the ship?
I can certainly try.
Being... This is evasive, so this is structure and con, please, from the Navis.
We believe in you, Gareth.
Well, that's your first mistake. Is it just a 1 die?
Just the 1.
1 success.
Yes, yes.
But you'd already generated 3, so equal it still hits, doesn't it?
I've generated 4.
Oh, 4, so...
So that's a definite hit with 1 extra. So that goes in there, and I was attacking with a closer weapon system this time, which was this. I am gonna... Now I'm going with piercing, which means I ignore the Navis's resistance. I am not adding anything to the damage. I'm just going to go for the flat 16. Which means the Borg cutting beam comes out and shreds your ship's shields down to 1 single point left. Now, this brings us to how Starship Combat has changed a little bitty bit. Because we kind of treat your shields and the enemy's shields as if we were doing an extended task. And extended tasks in 2nd edition work a certain way. As soon as you get past 50%, something happens. As soon as you get past 75%, something else happens. And unfortunately for you, the Borg have hit you hard enough that you do both. So what happens is, when we shields are down at 50%, the ship is now shaken, which means everybody gives me the Star Trek shake. So, the ship is shaken, which means the commanding officer, or highest ranking character, picks a damage result from a certain table. Do I have them here? Essentially, the choices are brace for impact. On the next turn this ship takes, or a character aboard this ship takes rather, they may not take a major action. So one of the major characters loses a turn, essentially to do major actions. They can only do minors. Or another choice is losing power, which unfortunately, because your ship doesn't have reserve power, you cannot take. Next option is casualties and minor damage. The ship suffers a complication. Or I can roll on this table, and it'll be random. So, Webby, as commanding officer, what would you rather? Injuries, As in, the ship takes a complication, or a main character misses a major action.
Yeah, I think we'll go for the. Let's go for the injuries.
Let's go for the injury. Okay, so minor injuries, which means folks have been injured by the rocking of the ship. Consoles have blown out. Folks are now being helped by their fellows to sickbay. Which means that we suffer a complication. Let's go with the complication of, since Mike just happily mentioned Orei and his hot tub, I'm going to introduce the complication of science tasks, like scanning for weakness,
Okay.
are now more difficult by a point of 1. But it gets worse. It gets much worse, because you've suffered past the 50%, which means that you suffer the shields at 25% effect as well, which means that the ship is shaken as above. However, it was already shaken from the attack, which means that the ship suffers a breach instead, as the weapon pierces through the shields to attack the ship itself.
I think
So that... What's that, sorry?
I think I can remove that.
If you're going to do it, then now's the time to do it.
Is that one?
Alright then, so once per mission, when you would suffer an injury, once per mission when the character ship would suffer 1 or more breaches, you may spend 2 momentum to ignore one of those breaches. In this case, okay. 2 momentum ignores that breach. Very good, very good, very good. So yes, the ship rocked and rolled with that really excessively heavy impact, and as a result, your ship has taken a wee bit of damage. As a result, so this leaves Ops with their turn remaining out of you guys. So your reserve power is out, which means without it you cannot raise shields. That's a good question, actually. How does one remove the shaken condition? Oh, I pressed the wrong. No, we don't any of that. Okay, so the ship has been shaken as a result of that, so the ship is going to have to... No, I'm sorry. Sorry to delay this here, guys, but I really need to see what this was. I've completely forgotten. I need to have a look at what the shaken effect does.
I believe it is not stirred.
Does it go away once its damage has been done, or does it linger and therefore you have to do something to take the shaken condition off of the ship? So I'm going to have another look-see here. Not seeing anything. So a breach is...
Power?
Say that again?
What did we use our reserve power?
It was taken away from you by the Borg's energy draining attack.
But it didn't use dampening this time.
That would be a good
Closed
idea.
energy and intensities.
Sorry, I must be speaking with my headphones a minute. Give me a second. And let me turn that down. Alright, try again. What was that, Shaun?
I thought it was the dampening effect that removed our power, and that cutting beam doesn't have it.
No, that was last turn, because I don't remember you. You created the attacks made easier, creating a trait rather than actually bringing power back. Did I misread that?
don't know. I just thought we had it. So.
No, it was the choice of, when it was Nova's turn last time, the choice of either bringing back reserve power, potentially by spending the 2 momentum you had, or by actually doing that as a task yourself. Or spending momentum to do more than one thing. And it sounded, to me at least, like you opted to create a trait. If I got that wrong, I apologize. Did I get it wrong?
It's all good.
Alright then, so for the moment then, I mean, you've still got your actions you can take now. And you do have 2 momentum in the pool, which you just removed, so you could do that to regain reserve power using the ship's secondary reactors. And you can use your own major action to try and regenerate shields if you want. Which at this point I think is pretty much a very needed thing.
Nah, we don't need to.
I think it's kind of a redundant thing, if I'm honest. Everything's attack is going to go through that. So.
I mean, the shields really do help, but yeah, their major weapon system is extraordinarily powerful, so maybe...
You're going to hit anyway. You're generating more hits than we can evasion.
Well, I had to spend again to get over your evasion this time, so... But I've generated more since as a result of the attack. I wanted to do the taking average rolls as a means of trying to speed my end of things up, but if you think out of fairness I should start rolling, I'm more than happy to do that. What do folks think? Would they rather me roll and therefore there's the greater risk, of course, of me messing up my rolls, or getting really, really good ones? Or are you alright with me still assuming the average roll of 11? So I don't get too much, but I also don't get any complications or anything like that. It's your game, guys. So, what would you rather happen?
I'm good whichever way you wish.
Yeah.
I just thought it would speed things up if I just assumed results of 11. So, if we're alright to continue with that,
yep,
then we will continue with that. Okay, cool. So, Shaun removed 2 momentum from the pool, then Shaun removed another 2 momentum from the pool?
So the first 2 is for the ignore breach, second 2 is for regain power.
Ignore breach. Oh, yes. Pardon me. I'm not quite with it. Okay. Got you now. But since you spent momentum to bring reserve power back, that means you still have a major action you can use to bring shields up, so... Doubling your focus range. Okie dokie. So, regenerate shields was... In fact, since I haven't found an answer to that, let's assume this ship is not shaken anymore. 3 successes. Is that... Oh yeah, because the thing function actually now works. That's still 3 successes, so... Tactical operations. Regenerate shields. Control and engineering difficulty 2. Can I get... Alex, could you be the Navis for me, please? And roll me structure and engineering, please. Nice. So that's 4 successes. To regenerate shields, you needed 2. So you can... Oh, and you use that to gain a bonus too. So the bonus...
Everything's... I've used Legion of 2 Honor to gain 2. Everything from the rolls going into it.
Yeah. So the 2 can go into adding additional shields. So how do we do that? The ship regains shields equal to Nova's engineering department plus 2 more for every momentum spent. So that's 5 plus the 2 that you got from Legion of Honor can give an additional 4. Anything else you want to add to that, or are you good with what we got there?
I think that's all I can add.
Alright. So we got reserve power back, and we've got about a third of shields back. As a result, the over here trait has now expired, since you have used it to draw attention so that the Budapest at least is disabled, not destroyed. But the Bozeman is still captured by the Borg's tractor beam. Your next science tasks are going to be more difficult, but before we move on to turn number 3, the Borg...
tried to disrupt the tractor beam.
Sorry?
I thought we tried to disrupt the tractor
We
beam.
hit it, but we didn't save it.
Well, that's a good point. You went for specifically destroying a specific system, didn't you?
Yeah, save the
You
ship.
did do a fair amount of damage, so let me retract my earlier statement and say you did. I was just concentrating on the damage you were doing specifically to the Borg's shields, and forgot entirely that you were targeting a specific system. So yes, we will count that because you did so much damage as a result. You did free the Bozeman from the tractor beam, which is good, because that means I don't have to read the next bit. What happens at the start of turn 3? Right. The Borg switch up their tactics again and start firing plasma charges in every which direction. They start saturating the area. As a result, I have now engaging the trait Plasma Charge Saturation, and it's specifically targeting the middle and inner groups, of which you have joined because you were trying to get the attention away from the middle group. Now the middle and inner groups are having to dodge around these plasma charges, just saturating the area, so the overall fleet positioning is now being disrupted. Both the inner and middle groups are now peeling away from grouping together for additional support and concentrating their fire, and they're having to dodge around these seemingly random bursts of plasma. As a result, all con-related tests are now more difficult by a factor of 3, because you are going to have to dodge all of these massive plasma explosions going off in space. So you have saved the Bozeman, but as a result of, rather than being able to circle around, regroup and come back into the fight, it's now, like the others, having to dodge out of the way of these plasma blasts. But I would also do lose these advantages. Turn 3. Okay, this is the beginning of turn 3. Who goes first out of you lot? Now, as well as creating traits, you can also try and negate traits. So if you wanted to take away the trait that's the complication that's making your science tasks more difficult, you can try and create a trait of your own, or counteract that trait outright by removing it. So that's also an option for you. What would you like to do?
Can we try and negate the plasma by creating a gravity well?
Could you try and negate the... You broke up on the last bit, I'm sorry, you went all muffled.
Negate the plasma by creating a gravity well?
So, yeah, if you can succeed on creating a trait with a if you succeed with the difficulty 2 of creating a trait, you could lower the plasma charge saturation by a point of intensity. And if you wanted to increase it more, you'd probably have to spend momentum to do it, depending on how many successes you've got. Of course, if you roll really, really well, you could negate the plasma charge saturation down further. So, creating a gravity well. So, would you like that to be Andrews's command attempt at creating a trait?
Anyone have any objections?
No objection.
Oh, key dokie. In that case, use whatever task you see fit in order to create that advantage. Or trait, I should say. I'm still using first edition terminology. No problem. Shaun will be right back.
Direct task, is it?
A direct... If you want to use the direct major action, you can get one of your other major characters to take an action now, and it won't count against their usual amount of actions they are allowed to do. So you could, if you wanted to, order Claw to open fire now, or you could order Nova to regain shields now, and Nova could still take her own actions as per usual on her turn, whenever that comes around. Using the Grand Kite order of tactics in order to create a trait, so adds a level of potency to that trait. Cool. So nice, nice, nice. So whatever you succeed in doing here can increase the plasma saturation. Okay. Or decrease it, I should say. Oh, that's a good roll. 3 results. You needed 1, so that creates... Actually, you're bringing down a trait. So ordinarily that would lower... So that gains you 1 momentum, but that also lowers the plasma saturation not just by 1, but by 2. So plasma charge saturation is now down to just 1. So the fleet thanks you for that. That gravitational distortion that you're setting up, that you've set up, is now taking the heat off of the inner and middle layers.
That probably will go against the Admiral's order. Is that we bring in the Taurus drive online, because that's the only way we can break gravity, but okay.
Okay, good point.
I mean, all we've done is just put dark matter drive on, dark matter reactor online. We're like, it's just gravity effect. Fine.
Okay, okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. Let me see here. Tactics, tic-tacs. What am I doing here? Okay. So, the Borg are going to take their action now. Now, what happens is, as the fleets are moving out of the way to try and negate get out of the way of these plasma detonations, with their tractor beams, they manage to snag the Appalachia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And where is it? The Lexington. So, and that's them dealing with those. But in regards to yourselves, they are going to...
Why do you resist? We wish to raise quality of life for all species.
They are going to activate an advantage, or a trait rather, where they saturate the area around the Navis with Metreon particles, meaning that it's that much harder for you to evade. So any evasive any evasive success added by Helm gets lowered by 1. Your turn. So, you've still got sensors, you've still got tactical, you've still got ops, Helm can declare what they're doing as well. Hey Shaun, welcome back. So, yep, Helm can declare whether they're doing an attack or an evasive. Sensors can try and scan for weakness. What was that, sorry, Shaun?
Do we want to go for more shields before the shooters again?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. I think let's build up our defences first.
Okie dokie doos.
In that case, can I use empathetic orphan to generate a determination?
Knowing what's at stake here, I suppose so. Yep, that makes a good amount of sense. So when you get a chance after we do all the debris here, remember to note that in your personal log. Yep, so this is regenerating shields action. You've done it before, so it's going to be control and engineering for Nova, assisted by the ship's structure and engineering. Let's have Mike be the Navis for this.
Okay.
The Navis should already have what you need already selected.
Alright. What am I doing? What?
Structure and engineering for the Navis, please, whereas Nova has to roll control and engineering when it comes to regaining shields.
Oh, I rolled 2. Sorry.
We'll take the success then for that one. We'll take the 9.
Okay.
I was going to say that sounds like the medals being examined there. No. Aha! It's just medals being thrown from the operations area, covering the floor. Star, Cross, and Cochrane Medal of Excellence. So you gain 2 benefits of spending determination, so you've already accrued 4 successes. And Star...
I have a question.
Yes.
What year are we in right now for Trek?
2373.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yes. 2373.
Much for the Riker maneuver.
Well, yeah. Good golly, good gosh, good grief. So that's 8 successes in total. You needed 2 to up it by Nova's 5. So that's already there. Bop! So... that's an extra 6 momentum. So out of those, you could maybe throw 3 into the momentum pool and then throw another 3 into regaining shield points. Or you could do any combination that you can conceive of. What would you like to do?
People are right with 1 momentum, 5 power?
Yep. Go for it.
So 1 momentum goes back in the pool, and the other 5 can all get spent on shields. Now I believe it's a 1-to-2 ratio. Yes. So that actually brings 10. So yes, your shields go rocketing up with that successful one, which means it's now the Borg's turn. Which means I engage with that and gain a threat. Which means it's your turn. So, who's left? What was decided in regards to Helm? Attack pattern or evasive?
I was going to say attack pattern because you generate naturally more than us, so unless we throw in extra momentum, and other departments are seem to using that, like when again, so I get using that. So unless someone else, unless want to keep trying to use evasive and just sink momentum into it to try and balance it out.
Up to you. I mean, you've now regained
that to the team.
You've now regained a bunch of shields, so an attack pattern might very well be a good idea.
Guys,
sounds good.
Okay.
I'm hearing no objections. Alright then, attack pattern comes back online, so when it comes time for Claude to attack, he'll be assisted by Thazanan. Cool, which means the Borg go next. I'm going to create another trait. Scanning for your power output. Make it easy
I'm
for
going
you.
to create blocking scan.
What did you want to do, sorry?
I'm going to create blocking your scan.
Cool, you're perfectly within your capabilities of doing that. If you want Orei to create your own trait or negate one of theirs, he can.
Yeah.
So, which of their traits would you like to try and negate?
What we got here listed?
So attack pattern means that they are going to get assistance on their attack roll with their con officer. Easier to hit as a trait means that they're going to find the difficulty in hitting the Navis is going to be 1 lower. Because you are not taking evasive maneuvers is going to be a flat difficulty. The harder to evade means that they've brought the difficulty to hit you down by 1 again. So they've brought the difficulty for hitting the Navis down by 2. So if you take out one of those
let's try
traits...
that.
Okay. So, control and science from Orei. Is there any particular way you'd like to go about this? I mean, you could use his warp field dynamics to try and come up with something. You could use his quantum physics to try and come up with something.
We will use quantum physics.
Cool. So maybe
subatomically.
Yeah. So, control and science from Orei to disrupt or negate one of their traits. Nice. You need difficulty 2. You got it on the money, which means one of their traits goes away. Let's take that one away. Bop! So you counteract the Metreon saturation. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Which means it's their turn, and that means I'm going to use this chance rather than going for scanning for weakness. We're going to try and attempt to snag you with a tractor beam. Which means attack pattern. Which is a good point. Tractor beam. Is that different from a regular attack? Yes, it is. So, control and security assisted by ships and security difficulty 2. So, they've got 2 dice for their tactical officer, assisted by the ship, assisted by their helm officer for 4 dice, assuming an 11, which is 4 successes. They needed, for tractor beam snag, a difficulty of 2, which means got 2 over and above what was needed, adding those to threat. Your ship has been snagged by a tractor beam. Your turn. Now, in order to try and break free of a tractor beam, I do believe, if I roll this back, where did I find that? Damage repairs, you have to make a contested action against the strength of their tractor beam, and it will surprise nobody to learn. The difficulty of the task to try to escape a tractor beam is equal to the tractor beam's strength, which in this case is 5.
Oh dear.
So you have a number of options to do that. You can try disabling the emitter, which is a control and security action assisted by the ship's weapons and security. You can try to disrupt the emitter with reason and science, using sensors and science within the ship. You can try modulating shields using insight and engineering assisted by ship structure and security. Or you can just go for trying to use the engines to break out with sheer power of the engines, doing daring and con assisted by engines and con. I will note that the only two who have not gone out of you guys now is Helm and Tactical, so really the options available to you here would be, well, raw power and maybe disabling the emitter.
So you could try blowing it up again.
Yeah, so disabling the emitter by directly attacking it.
Yep, it'll probably help if I go to the correct using.
So, what would you like to do?
Guess I'm going to aim with the clock. Will aim and try and blow up the emitter.
Okay, cool. Which means, because you're not trying to outpower the thing, that means, pardon me, Thazanan gets to assist on this attack. So for you, it's control. For Claude, it's control and security assisted by Webby. If you could be the ship's weapons and security.
I only get one success.
Oof! But you will also get Thazanan's assistance with what is it? Control and con.
I was about to say, would it have been worth using one of his determinations for this, but you've already rolled.
Yeah.
So we've got two so far. Anything that Thazanan generates now is extra.
So, do you say daring con or no control and con?
Let me check that again because I've forgotten control and con. Two successes. Thazanan does it again. So the difficulty we were looking for to escape the thing was 5. You have accrued 1, 2, 3, 4. Unless you want to spend determination. I mean, it's going to be Claude spending determination to reroll maybe the 18.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll go the never back down.
Mm-hmm. It's fine with me.
So I am
rerolling results.
Okay, reroll results, and it's just a 1 dice this time, isn't it?
Just the 1 dice, yeah.
Oh,
whoa, that is tons better. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes in total. 1 over and above what you needed. You target the emitter and blow it up. You are not held by the tractor beam, but that unfortunately brings an end to the turns that you guys can take, because I think that's everybody, isn't it?
Yep.
Which means the Borg are going to take their turn and are going to attempt to... Shields. Let's do shields. Which means do, and by do is 3, it's a 2, so they get engineering back. Which means it is... Good God, I need to stretch this. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 over means they regain that much with no extras. Alright then. Seconds away. Round... Where are we now? Oh, I've lost my track. Alright then. Okay. Alright then. You seem to be keeping the Borg's attention on you. The other ships... So the plasma charge saturation ends. That's no longer going on. They've done that. They've had its effect. Now they are trying to drag the Lexington and the Appalachia, which means that their respective fleet mates are trying to help them out of that situation. Leaving you to do whatever you want to do. So you've got fleet mates who are still captured by tractor beams. You have still got a trait which makes any of your science more difficult, which I forgot to apply to that last thing, so that's on me.
Can we get rid of that? I do that.
Yeah, I did pretty much forget to use it, so that's my fault, so that will go as well.
Navis made his holographic torpedo, didn't he, in the end?
It's
going to be completely ineffective against the Borg.
No, I'm not talking about using the hologram. What if we reprogram it to basically do a Independence Day? Load up with a virus to knock down the shields, at least temporarily.
You could try.
Can you calibrate a virus in less than a minute to fight the Borg?
I mean,
the amount of time all of this takes is a bit nebulous, to be fair.
We have had characters that technically have been sitting back, or is that being a bit cheeky?
It's up to you. I mean, that sounds to me like you are trying to create a trait, an equipment trait. Which, if I recall, if that is done by an operations officer, you can actually re-roll? I forget. Shaun, what's your operations manager role benefit give you again? So, whenever you create a trait representing an equipment or an alteration made to existing equipment, anyone who benefits from the trait in the present in the scene may re-roll a d20. So, if you want to try and create some kind of trait that represents you trying to basically gain more damage, essentially, you're trying to gain the dampening quality, really, aren't you, on knocking down their shields more.
Sort of just like if we get it timed with the rest of the fleet, as soon as
or depleting,
rather, a fluctuation or depletion of shield, hit it as hard as you can.
Now, I hasten to note, the rating of the Borg's shields is not representative of their shields when they're taking on other folks. This is the amount of shields that the Borg have when they're taking you guys on.
Oh, right.
This isn't the overall state of the Borg's structural integrity nor their overall state of their shields. This is the sector of their ship that you guys have been assigned to attack.
Okay.
Because the Borg ship is basically so massive that you know, and the fact that you did a whacking chunk of damage does speak to how powerful the Navis can be. But the Borg are also very tricksy, as we discover. They like using, adapting to stuff using which translates to using traits, which means you guys can do the same to counteract it or create your own. So, we come back once again to the idea that this is the start of a new turn, therefore what would you like to do? Actually, we've just done it, haven't we? No, this is the start of a new turn, my pardon. Turn number 4. So there is the option of... Pardon me. Of creating an equipment benefit if you want to try and give some added potency to your weapons system's ability to knock shields down. Definitely an option. And if it's done using Nova's operations manager role benefit, then it is made slightly more potent. So once again, how would you like to do this? Do you want to build up other traits for advantages first, now that you've got 5 momentum in the pool, or do you want to think of a new approach to things, or do you want to pile everything into one focused attack like you've done before? What would you like to do? No ideas?
I think try and punch through again. See if we can draw. Obviously, they've got multiple tractor emitters, but if we can try and draw them back onto us.
Yep. Okay. All right then. So try and punch hard once again, and if your tactical officer uses the minor action to target a tractor emitter, you can help one of your
What I was thinking,
depends
on you guys. Plot has the shield breaker thing. Previously, we've taken a large chunk out of the shields. If we can actually start reduce the shields past, say, the 50% route with enough power, punching through like the captain says, that might cause them some damage and possibly draw their attention to us because we're actually starting to have significant effects. What do people think?
I think it sounds good. What do other people think? Go with it?
Sure.
Alrighty. Sounds like we've got a plan. Alright, so who wants to set this up first then? So in order to hit, you've previously needed to do the usual things of scanning for weaknesses, maybe giving in an attack pattern. Your command officer can try and set up a trait. Your operations officer can try and set up an equipment trait, leaving the command officer to do something else, or increase the potency of one of the traits that you create. You know,
how's the fleet looking at the moment?
Okay, so we've definitely got the Jaeger disabled. Their positioning is being completely scattered thanks to the plasma charge saturation, but was lessened as a result of your thing. But it allowed the Borg to get a snag on the Lexington and the Appalachia. So the other ships are either trying to keep on attacking the Borg, or they're looking to try and free their fellow ships from Borg tractor beams. So that's how the rest of the fleet is doing currently.
I'm just wondering whether that could be used for me to build determination against something.
If you can think of a good justification for it, then I'm usually happy to accept.
I just don't know how I'd spend on the momentum, on the actual bit to gain it. Well, I used for the good of the Federation on the last one.
You have... No, you haven't
Survival
spent determination. Yeah, you have actually spent determination.
Yeah,
did you roll on veteran?
Oh, I
You didn't roll on veteran, so it's probably best if you did.
Roll a claim, isn't it?
It's roll a d20, and if you roll equal to or less than your control rating, you get that determination point back. So, roll low, basically. Roll a d20 and roll low. Not like that. Okay. So the determination you spent earlier is stayed spent.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of whether to actually aid in this, building my own determination to use on it by challenging.
Yeah, I mean,
technically it's reckless by putting preservation of life, by putting the ship into direct line to then save the lives of more of the Federation.
Preservation of life, yeah, you are. Well, you are kind of going against
putting the lives of my own crew at risk for the benefit of the Federation.
So challenging a value, as well as using it as a means of getting a point of determination back. Okay, but I will say that you can do that, get a point of determination back, and spend it, but the next command action you take is going to be that much more difficult to do because you've kind of chosen an interesting avenue that was definitely against orders and is also kind of at odds with your, having to your duty to preserve the life of your crew. You put them in harm's way. So I will say, yeah, regain a point of determination then.
Well, this is only when it gets around to my turn on it, because obviously we're currently planning for the Clort plan.
Yes.
This is going to aid the Clort plan.
And this is going to aid Clort plan, yeah. So, but you're creating a trait, or you want to just generate the determination to give it to him?
He's got his own, hasn't he?
He doesn't. He spent it.
Yeah, had to free us from the tractor beam.
Yeah, I'll use it to build a determination, and then give it to Clort.
Okay. I'm still going to have it then as you're essentially making life difficult for yourself in order to do this. So I am going to throw in a... But now I'm just going to say a command penalty. So any command-based tasks you perform until I decide to take that trait away will be that much more difficult as a result of warring voices within your head. But yes, okay then. You've got a point of determination back with which you can gift to Claude at a later juncture, which means nobody has actually acted yet of you guys. So, I mean, Andrews doesn't have to do nothing. She can still technically gift determination to somebody else, I do believe. You may spend to grant another character you can communicate with. It does not have to be linked to using or challenging a value, but nonetheless, it doesn't take an action either. So you've still got your minor and major actions available to you. 2. Create traits or take the direct action. Andrew still has the ability to do stuff, essentially. If we're running out of ideas of what to do first, then if you're going to mount an attack, well, one of the first things you need to decide is for Helm to do an attack, and another attack run, maybe. Or if you want sensors to scan for weakness in order to get piercing for your weapons. With a lack of an enthusiastic response, I'm going to say probably the best one to do first then is sensors in order to gain the piercing quality.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
that's fine.
Alright then, so Orei once again gets to do control and science. Difficulty 1, I think it was, aided by the ship's... sensors and security. So can I have Alex be the Navis, please?
Sensors and security, you said?
Yes, please. Cool, so Orei gives us 1 success, and the Navis gives us none success. You needed... this is for the piercing quality, isn't it? So, scan for weakness is difficulty 2. Unfortunately, you only got 1, which means you weren't able to calibrate the you weren't able to detect a weakness on the Borg ship. So everything that's going on, the Borg ship is proving hard to scan. Okay, that's sensors done their job. Now it's the Borg's turn. Alright, so we're going to set this up. Wrong tool, Matt. Let's use the right one. Attack pattern. So, next of you to go. I would also suggest either an attack pattern or creating a trait to make it easier to hit them with.
Yeah.
If it's going to be me, then I was going to continue with the attack pattern, certainly. Proving to be effective.
Okay, so they go next. I am going to go with scanning your ship for a weak point. Your turn. Next thing would be either to actually launch an attack now with Mr. Claude, or Andrews create some sort of trait. Or do something else with her command abilities.
Up to the captain.
I'm afraid so.
Let's get Claude's attack over if everyone's happy with that.
Okay.
He's got the determination point for it.
He does have a determination point, so when you roll Claude, roll him 1 dice less and check the determination because it's coming off of Andrews, which means that Helm once again gets to assist with this, with control and con.
Apparently, I
And-
can use that one as well.
Ooh.
Shaun has
What's
reminded me, I
permission?
don't check my own medals now.
Oh. So when you direct, you can get someone as if they'd rolled a 1. Groovy.
So
How
we'll
neat.
let him use the determination as well to really hit them.
Does that mean I'll automatically get 2 1s?
Yarp.
So hang on,
Right,
who are you directing? Sorry?
Claw.
Claude. So Claude makes 2 attacks, essentially. Okay. What's permission when they
No,
use
because it's just directing. Once permission, when your character uses a direct task, they may treat their d20 as if they rolled a 1. So he gets 1-1, and then he gets, because he's using my determination, he gets the second one, like Gareth said.
Cool.
Okay.
So we're essentially rolling 1 dice for Claude and 1 dice from Helm to assist.
Am I rolling actually any? Because if I'm rolling the determination as well, that turns 1 into a 1, doesn't
That
it?
is a very good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to roll
You
at
don't
all.
get
So,
to roll, you just get
Okay.
to want.
However, I'd like to spend the momentum to activate Shield Breaker to increase the intensity rating of our weapons by 2.
jeepers. That is still right. You've rolled 2 1s. That's already 4.
Yep.
And that is on top of Thazanan rolling 1 dice with control and con, please, Alex.
Do we get 1 from the ship as well?
Good point, yes. The ship does shoot as well. Mike? Weapons and security, please, from the Navis. 1
Okay.
dice.
And oh,
Wow.
shall I use the last one or save it?
Entirely up to you.
Use it. We need to.
Yeah.
That's the last Legion of Honor then. Yeah.
Okay. And that leaves Mike with giving us the Navis. Okay, that was a better. 1 success. That's 5 in total. They were taking no evasive action whatsoever. You needed 2. You got 3 over and above what was needed. You were also using something to add a potency level of 2 to your weapon systems.
Yep, so I'll put that up again. Shield Breaker. Increase the intensity rating of the energy weapon by 2.
Cool. So, essentially... I've lost the plot. It's an 11 with, at the very least, you can boost that up to the 12 with the extra momentum that you got from all of that.
Yep.
So that is a thorough 12. Let's go with Phaser Array. 12. You didn't get over piercing, I'm afraid. But you did, because it's versatile, generate 2 extra momentum, which means it actually goes up to... Good God, what did I say?
It's 12 plus F2, that'd be 14.
14, which means you got 1 over their resistance.
Woo!
You
So we
did
got 1 point of damage.
actually you did actually manage to hit their shields.
Woohoo.
Yep.
Yep.
But that was Claught's first attack from having had the direct action used, which means Claught still has another attack to make.
Does he make that now?
If you want to, you can make that now. Now,
Do I need to use a minor action to reconfigure the shield? Not the shields, the phasers.
especially because you're trying to go... That's a good point. You were going for the shield emitters, which means by taking 2 goes...
Yep.
You are, in fact, if you hit both, knocking out 2 emitters. Right, the first attack, would you rather free the Appalachia or the Lexington? One of the inner tier guys or the outer tier guys, the command ships?
The Appalachia is probably better because it's a escort,
I'll
so it's
go
more
with
maneuverable.
I'll go with the captains.
Okay.
Lexington's a Nebula class, like they're not designed for combat.
Okay. So, you've knocked out one emitter, now we gotta go through that again, but this time we actually roll.
Yeah.
So let's have Claude rolling control and security, assisted by Thazanan's control and con, assisted by the ship, which I would like Shaun to roll as, please. Weapons and security from the ship.
2 successes.
That is a hit. With an extra 1 from the ship. And from Alex, please, if we could get Thazanan's control and con. Another one.
If that's another 20, I would say, okay, that dice is going to jail.
Nope. There we are. So that's 2 successes over and above what you needed, which is enough. But you've got Shield Breaker.
Yep.
Which goes enough.
So another point of momentum.
And generates 2 extra points of momentum. And because you generated 2 more than usual, you can either throw those 2 more than usual into the momentum pool to make it 6, or you can add these to damage and make the intensity of the weapon jump up by 1 again.
I'm thinking we want to pile on the damage, unless people don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
Abso-diddly-doodly. So,
all the damage.
All the damage. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It gets exactly on its resistance, and therefore the shot is negated. But that was a damn good shot. And now you see the importance of needing the piercing trait.
Did we actually reduce the shield at all?
But you did not shift their shields at all. But I will judge that that was a difficult shot, and as a result, you took out the emitter for the second ship. Nice. So even if you didn't do any actual structural damage to the Borg ship or its shields, you did achieve your objective of knocking out the second tractor beam emitter.
I like to think that we're playing the no game with the Borg. They keep grabbing ships, we keep on slapping their hand and going, no.
We're just getting the rolled up newspaper of justice and going, bad dog, bad
With
dog.
Bifrost drive, Matt,
Yeah.
does it have a cooldown on use?
I don't think we've ever established that, so I'm going to go with no. Why? What were you thinking?
Just if things really do go to hell, then do what Discovery did on the Klingon vessel.
I knew you were going there as soon as you asked.
Which was, for the purposes of those who haven't seen Discovery...
Which is where they use... Well, basically, it's effectively jumping, coming out of position, firing, jumping, coming out of position, firing.
Ah, so the multi-jump...
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Were we trying to avoid the Bifrost drive?
Yes, exactly, but I'm just thinking if all goes to hell and the fleet is on its absolute last legs, it's something that can be used.
Didn't they use that to nullify the cloaking device rather than actually do damage to it?
They use that to pinpoint the location by pinging. But we could do effectively fire from several positions at once. We can be everywhere and everywhen.
Now, I
kind of like the card mover
sorry.
and creating
Yeah.
echoes.
Beware of going into the multiverse.
Now, I hasten to note, what just happened there was Andrews and then Claude going, so the Borg have actually missed a turn, which means I now take 2. Because Andrews used the direct action, and then we just... In my enthusiasm, I went straight to Claude, so I missed my own turn there, but nevertheless... I've already got that going. I am going to do... one more science action on my first go to scan with sensors, which is going to be harder than it was before, which means I don't generate any threat from that. They direct a focused polaron beam towards your ship, and the polaron beam seems to settle on deck, I believe it's, yes, deck 9.
There's nothing there. There is nothing there, Borg. Go away.
Which informs their next action. They're not going to attack. They are going to use advanced transporters. Which means I have to make a task to see what the task is to get onto your ship. It's usually transporter is control and engineering assisted by, so that's 1, 2, 3. At most it's going to be difficulty 2, so that's 1 extra threat. So you suddenly get intruder alert alarms going off, as it seems some bodies have beamed onto deck 9. So, we've added an extra complication on top of all of this. So, let me see, who am I using here? I am going to use these guys.
How come the threat went up for that, out of interest?
Because it would have been a control and engineering task using 2 dice, assisted by the ship's sensors and engineering, which is 3 dice. Assume a roll of 11. They've got a roll of 15 or under, gets them a success. I needed 2. I got 1 extra threat.
Yeah, I don't think this rolling of an 11 is particularly working, because you've just insta successed that.
Once again, I did it mostly for a matter of expediency. If you don't like it, I can go back to rolling.
I think so, because with an average of, you will never roll a complication if you're averaging an 11.
Exactly.
So there is a chance that there will be complications. So I think roll, even if it slows it down, because otherwise it makes it the fact that this is the Kobayashi Maru. Because no matter what we do, the Borg will always succeed.
I was trying not to let myself get a little bit frustrated, but that's why I switched, because it was pointless doing it, because we need to sink momentum into something else and putting it all into momentum to try and get over your 4.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. If as a result of that we want to switch back to me rolling, then I am more than happy to do it. Which means I am going to do the rolling side of things. Alrighty, assisted by the ship. 2 successes. Alright then, once again. But without the added threat this time, so... In fact, just to be fair, I will knock some off. As a result of these perception. Okay, so you've got intruder alert in deck 9, your Bifrost drive. Is apparently got a few guys who have gone there that are having a good old look. So this introduces a bit of a weird scenario where now we've got a situation going on that will need security to deal with, and therefore characters who can be sent to deal with it. But unleash for the moment... Go on, sorry?
As I said, unleash the Keth.
Unleash the Keth. So, Andrews is gone, Thazanan has gone. Nova went early, didn't she? To get shields back.
Yeah.
So that's all of you gone, that's all of the Borg gone. So it's back around to turn 5. Okay. Okay, what do they do? Alright, Admiral Hayes sends out a message to the fleet to alter tactics. Hayes wants the outermost layer of ships to start bombarding the Borg with torpedoes, while the remaining innermost ships will focus on targeting weapon emplacements. This will give you guys the advantage trait now of torpedo bombardment. Which will make it that much more difficult for Borg weapon attacks. So this makes it a lot harder for the Borg to attack and maneuver, and therefore can give you enough breathing room to try and deal with your intruders. Now, I hasten to note it is 5 minutes to our ending time. Do we want to maybe cut it there so that we can begin from on our next section from the beginning of this turn afresh, or do we at least want to see if you can deal with the Borg drones that are in Deck 9? So save it for next time, or at least deal with the boarding action now. Which does mean that somebody is going to have to maybe give up their turn doing this to move and deal with that. Or, of course, you could try and create a trait of like a security team to try and deal with it. What would you like to do? I mean, 4 minutes left. Would you rather just start this afresh from next time we come back, or what?
I'm happy to start afresh next week.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, as a result of Mike being busy next week, we are going to give next week a skip, and therefore it'll be in 2 weeks' time we continue this, if that's okay with everybody.
Yep.
Give you time to think up some interesting ways of getting around the Borg and their adaptability. And of course the added WotC of roles now coming into it will of course have an effect. Okay, in that case then, we are going to stop the Battle of Sector 001 right here. Therefore, I will thank my players for being their usual great selves. This is obviously a bit more of a serious episode as a result of the situation being what it is and requiring some thought, some tactical creativity, which for the most part has been very good. And yeah, we will see if this trend continues next time. So for the time being, thank you very much for watching, those who watched. For those who are watching on YouTube and you enjoyed this, consider giving this a like as per usual, because it doesn't just help us, it helps everybody doing actual plays and anything to do with Star Trek. We ask you all to do like the Vulcans do, which is live long and prosper, but also, you know, when it comes to dealing with the Borg, remember to be a bit adaptive. But engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations, and take care of yourselves now, especially that the world seems to be getting even more chaotic than it was before. Because blimey, just when you thought the world wasn't done throwing us surprises, it just keeps on going. Thank you very much, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, hailing frequencies are now closed.